I hope you are doing fantastic. It's March 31st, 2025, 8:43 p.m. here in Sydney, Australia. First up, I just want to apologize for the sort of on and off not turning up call that we'd scheduled Sunday just gone past. Just to give you some background, I got really sick and I just wasn't in a situation to sort of run a call or anything at that time. Basically, I was sort of burning the candle at both ends. And for those of you that do know what I do two things at the moment. So I do some sales consultancy and direct sales for a startup that does PBX or hosted phone systems. And the other thing I do is obviously the executive ghostwriting and content production and all that sort of stuff. And that's my kids, if you can hear that. And so basically, I had been running really, really hard for a period of time, and usually in between the sprints, what I'll do is I'll do quite a bit of business development work for my ghostwriting agency. So I'll just do a lot of reach out, do a lot of meetings, and then juggling that, kids, all that sort of stuff. So I got sick, and I was out all of last weekend. I was sort of recovering this weekend, and then I think I just had too much on, and I think the Lord was saying, you just need to take a chill pill and just relax. And so I had rescheduled it for last night or yesterday morning at 3 a.m. my time. I was just not in a state to do it. And so I just had to can it. So I do apologize. I'm really sorry. I was looking forward to the call, and it's always good to just hear what people are sort of going, what they've picked up and what they've learned. That's what the celebration calls were. That's why they were so great, and that's how I connected with so many people. So the next sprint, I'm literally in the process of setting up the messaging here in school. It's basically a copy and paste a lot of the old stuff, and I chuck it back in. I'll probably do a couple of new videos just to get it going. And so that's what this will look like. So that'll start on Monday, which is the 7th, I believe. Let me have a look at the calendar. What is it? Save this task. So that will be the 7th of April. So by now, you would have had, for those of you that got to 30/30, you would have had 30 pieces of content. You would have had, let me just make this a little bit smaller so you can see it all. You would have had 30 pieces of content, gain some insight into how digital writing works. You would have seen a number of different things, especially what I would have been pointing out. If you're paying attention, if you're not, that's fine. And you would start to see what the trends are, what the tactics, what the shams, the scams. And there's a lot of them. There's a lot of them out there. And what starts off as, initially, hey, I want to do something different. I want to take some of that expertise that I've got, my experience, convert that into something, writing, digital, being a writer online, doing copy, doing content. That becomes a vastly different proposition when you actually know what you have to do to get into building the business. And I don't say this lightly because this is what I went through. So like I thought, hey, I'll just do some posting, and and that was back in 2022 when this all happened for me. And now it's morphed into something a lot different. And my messaging has evolved, my content generation skills have evolved, my positioning has evolved, my copy skills have evolved. I don't have an audience of 100,000 people. I don't have an audience of 10,000 people. But the skills that I bring into what I'm doing through the practice and just the turning up daily is what gives you an edge over those that don't. And it gives you an edge over those that are stuck in echo chambers that don't really seem to understand how the ecosystem actually works. So this coming 30 for 30, it'll largely be the same. I'm thinking maybe a couple of calls because I really did enjoy that call that we did. And it was so interesting just to see the riffing between Benjamin and Janice, especially on pricing and stuff. And, that's not what we did in Ship 30 for 30 when we did the cohorts. But I think, this is something that is of interest to me. And given that I'm effectively, I'm a salesperson and a business development person. So, you know, sales and deal crafting and stuff like that. That's something that's definitely my wheelhouse. So 7th of April, 30 for 30 again. For those of you that have been in this group chat, in this sprint and haven't posted anything, I encourage you to get involved. I encourage you to just get some ROI on the investment that you've spent, not only just in money for buying the course, but just in time. The time that you've just been sitting there watching, lurking, thinking about it, going, is this for me? Is it not for me? I'm going to give you a vastly different perspective on what this is. This is not a one and done once you've done 30 days. This is not a hey, I've done this and a flood of customers are going to come my way. If you actually research and read and understand how the algorithm works, if you understand how consumer behavior, how the customer journey works, if you understand how omni-channel marketing in digital, you know, whether it be through social, email, offline event marketing, you know, SEO, paid versus earned advertising. When you start to understand how all of this stuff works and you understand how a lot of it is not together, not connected together, and when you start to see how large brands are not doing it well, and when you start to see, you know, the creator universe and how they generate, you know, their buzz and how some of it's legit and some of it's just an absolute load of BS, you know, because the only people making money are the course creators. So when you start to understand that and you start to infuse your expertise into the craft of, it's not even digital writing, it's content creation with a view to become an expert in it, and then the proposition is vastly different. And, you know, if you've come from like B2B, SaaS, you know, some of you have come from other industries like, you know, pharma, biotech, that type of stuff, you know, consulting, academia, like all these, when you start to understand the process that you go through in how things are procured. So when you start to understand the procurement process for services, products, not just in, you know, small B2B, but I'm talking like mid-market and large, then how you behave, how you write, how you position is a vastly different proposition to, hey, I ghostwrite for, you know, I'll do you an educational email course and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that that's wrong. I'm just saying that there's a lot more sophistication and nuance to that than just putting up posts and stuff like that. So the first step is content. The first step is writing. The first step is getting it out of your head, getting fear out of your head, worrying about what other people care about. People do not care about you. They care about their own problems. And if you can solve those problems, then they will start to care about you. And that will only happen when you start writing, when you start practicing, when you start developing your skills. And then when you start to develop auxiliary skills around that. So things like sales outreach, things like creating digital content, your moat around your offer, learning how to be an effective digital marketer. This is not a one and done after 30 days. In fact, I think it's not a one and done after 90 days. I think it's a continual thing. And that's why you see, for me, you know, when you see my stuff, it took me a while to get to 30 for 30. It takes me a while to get to, it took me a while to get to 30 for 30 with these images, but you know, this is what it looks like now, you know. So that's tomorrow's post, same but different, and that's off post that I did during the sprint. But you know, this one, 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 like everything from this brain image here. These are daily posts from when we finished the sprint on the 18th. So remember, it's 30 for 30. You know, everyone's welcome. The fastest way to monetize your writing is through affiliates. So there is an affiliate program in Ship 30 for 30. And, you know, Dickie's got a page on it. And it's, you know, if you go, where is it? The ambassador program. So you've, you know, so if you come to this page, that's under, and then in the all, this is the fastest way. This is the fastest way that you're going to monetize. So you go here, you set up, you know, you create a link and then you promote the shit out of like, you're going to do this writing sprint. And I kid you not, people are curious about this. They are looking and they are watching and they're going, what are you doing? And, you can get to a point where you have assets. Let's have a look. I'll show you mine. Show you behind the hood in my here it is. So this is a V1 of my affiliate page that I've created. These are all the products that I sort of recommend for people when I go into coaching. So that's a new revenue stream that's just popped up. I've got a friend that's asked me to coach him, and that's about him wanting to learn all the skills that I've learned. It's a very fluid thing. I'm working it out with him. He's going to pay me some cash for 3 months. I'm going to be showing him everything I do. He's going to rip apart his business and do some, reevaluation, all sorts of things like that. And so here, this is, these are QR codes that I've, generated from using Bitly. I've obviously got the paid plan because I've got, I can create it like this. I've got my own URL that I've set up. So when you go to it, it's got au.djsm, goes to, and so I've got these ones here. I've got, the two things that I'd probably say is, so I'm promoting my wares here at the top. I've got this book here, The Business of Expertise, which I've been raving on to everybody. I thoroughly recommend everybody get a copy of that book. And then the applications here, I've got Leonardo AI, I've got Teller, which I'm using right now to do all these videos. And then as far as the courses and the knowledge piece, I've got Ship30, I've got the LinkedIn OS from Justin, Content OS from Justin, Creator MBA, and a couple of other things here. I have to say these two here have changed a little bit for me, just what I've seen from their pricing mechanisms and stuff. I'm a little bit disappointed. And this is what I'm talking about, this whole machine, this money-making machine of just, the value needs to be aligned with the price needs to be aligned with the perceived value that's being presented. So, things like, I've upped my price. I've only had one. I've had one call with someone and they paid me some money for it and I've doubled it. And the reason that I've doubled that is because a friend of mine said you need to be charged more for what you know. And I went, okay. So I did it. It feels funny, but it means that somebody's serious to pay. But am I going to be charging $1,000 for an hour of my time? I think not. That's a little bit crazy. So just to finish up, yeah, apologies for not being able to host the rap call. I was really looking forward to it. I really, really was looking forward to it. Community has been the main driver for me on this whole Ship30 thing. I've made a lot of great friends. I'm hoping to make more. It's a good way for me to keep myself honest as far as my content creation and just studying the craft of digital content. So yeah, I hope you can join the next sprint. Remember, it'll start on the 7th. I will post the page here, and I'm thinking the calls, it would probably be good to maybe do like a call a week. If anybody wants to help with some structure around that, I'm happy to. I'm all ears. I think an hour and a half, an hour and a half probably. And then I think something around some of the tenets of the Ship30 curriculum would be relevant, which would be good. And then just enough flex time so there's a bit of riffing back and forth and Q&A and stuff like that, because I really enjoyed that aspect as well. So with that said, for those of you that are going to join the next sprint, look forward to it. For those of you writing, I'll see you online. And for those of you that and didn't post anything, I thoroughly encourage you to just get on board and just post one thing. And if it doesn't mean that you have to do it in this little sprint that I've been organizing, but you've paid good money for it and you backed yourself into thinking that you could do something. So take that next step and just get something published. And with that said, have a great day. God bless. And hope to see you soon. Bye.